झालं Okay, very good afternoon, one and all participant. I welcome you on behalf of Sir Dr. M.S. Gosavi College of Pharmacy, NASI, for this particular EFDP Faculty Development Program and Student Training Program on the topic that is effective research proposal and manuscript writing under the aegis of internal quality assurances. I welcome today's speaker, Dr. Hitendra Mahajan sir. Sir is Professor and Head Department of Pharmaceutics, R.C. Patel Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Shirpur. Uh, I will just give a brief introduction of today's speaker, Mahajan sir. Sir is a elected member of Board of Studies in the subject of pharmaceutics of Kavayatri Bainabai Chaudhary, North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon. Sir's area of research includes nanoparticles-based drug delivery system, nasal and pulmonary drug delivery system, microneedles-based ocular delivery system, and point-of-care diagnostics development. Very proud to say that Sir has completed sponsored projects as a principal investigator costing rupees 1 crore to 23 lakh rupees from various funding agency AICT, New Delhi, University Grant Commission, BIRAC, Sir Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission, Government of Maharashtra, and two pharmaceutical industry. So this is a very great achievement of Sir. Then, as per the awards and achievements are concerned, Sir has published over 130 publications with 2,525 citations with H index of 27 and I index of 46 with a cumulative impact factor of 220. Sir has published 4 books and 3 books chapter with international publishers. Proud to say that Sir received Professor Ambikanandar Mishra Research Excellence Award in 2019 from EPTI in Pharmaceutics and Drug Delivery. Sir received award from University Grant Commission in the year 2014-16. Sir also received Best Research Paper Award in 2017 from IDMA. Then Sir also got an Excellent Teacher Award from Kavayatri Bainabai Chaudhary, North Maharashtra University in Jalgaon. Sir has transferred two technologies to industry based on nano-emulsion formulation. So there are a lot of to say about Sir's biodata and introduction, but these are the very highlighting points I just enumerated here. So today's this particular talk of Sir is how to write a successful research proposal for grants will be definitely beneficial for each and every participant because the participants across India are there. So definitely this is a very good insight for and resourceful enrichment for one and all of the participants of this particular EFTP and STP. So it is over from my side. Over to you, sir. Mahajan, sir, kindly proceed with your proficiency and enlighten us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Venkatesh sir, for your kind words of introduction. Uh, it's okay. Uh, is it visible, na?
Yeah,
Is it
visible.
okay? Dear participant, what is the topic of this FDP and student training program? It's very nice to how to write a research proposal and manuscript in that. Today my deliberation is on how to write a successful research proposal for grant. Uh, Actually, I'm not delivering any kind of the session or lecture to you, but I'm sharing my research experience, what I learned through my some number of projects I submitted to the different funding agencies, and during the submission, what kind of the comments I received through research that funding agencies in terms of either it is rejections are there or either it is some revisions are there. So I compile all these things in a kind of presentation manner is that. If you see, I received the funding of rupees more than 1.2 crore, and it is quite difficult job for any person who is working in a private institute to fetch such type of the funding through the different funding agencies are there. Although this cumulative grant belongs to the total 7 projects are there, but what are the 7 projects which get sanctioned by the different funding agencies? Uh, I must say about 21 proposals are submitted, and out of that 7 get sanctioned. That is the ratio in case of me also. So I don't know how can I justify within 1 hour how to write a successful research proposal. Still, I'll try my best to give something insights how to write a successful research proposal. Then why this topic is that if you see the research projects are shrinking everywhere, and after 2014, if you see the government is somewhat stringent about sanctioning the projects which are merely deals with the publication or some kind of the patents which are not likely to get commercialized. So most of the funding agencies stop their funding to the academic institutes, especially the University Grant Commission. After 2015, there is no any call from University Grant Commission for the research project with them. The second reason why this topic is that researchers are being forced to seek external funding. If you see 20 years back, it's only the some research institute and some government academic institutes are only dealing with the writing a research proposal, and they are asking for the grants are there. But if you see in this era, if you stand in some rankings and some numbering and accreditation of the academic institutes, you need to have some external funding in order to stand somewhere. So there is a researchers are forced in academic institute to seek external funding, and the another reason is that the writing good research proposal is not that much easy. That is my personal experience. There are some basics about the grants are there. Grants are the some amount of money awarded to finance some particular activity and not to be paid back. I can say this statement is somewhat old one. Nowadays, the funding agencies are that much very serious about what is the amount which is to be funded in terms of grant. They are asking for the utilization for that purpose, and if it is not properly to be utilized, then they are asking to pay back that amount along with some interest in there. So nowadays, this basic terminology of getting the money and not giving the back, that is not the case. It is important to understand the goals of the funding bodies and their grant programs. If you see the different funding agencies websites are there, they are having their goals to the funding to the some specific areas, like say biotechnology industrial research assistant council is there. They are only dealing with some funding related with the biotechnology aspect in that. If you see the ACRB, they are only dealing with some engineering aspects. So that type of the goals of the funding bodies that are needs to be understood previously. As far as pharma fundings are concerned, they more deal with the SERB, DST, and CSIR funding. That are mostly suitable applicants are there. Then decisions are made on applicant ability to fit the proposed research activities to the interest of the funding body. So, what are the decision made by the funding agencies are there? That is by judging whether the applicant is suitable for the undertaking the research activity or not, and that can be seen through the its education in terms of the higher degrees, post graduation studies from very good institutes. Then, if it is a PhD and postdoctoral research work is there, the extent of the research work carried out by the individual, that is to be taken into account while granting the proposals on it. Then, before writing to the research grant, writing a proposal for the research grant, one should seek the answers to the following questions: are what are the current trends? If you see the current trends related with the funding agencies on it. Nowadays, the what are the funding different funding agencies, they are looking for the some outcome of the project in the form of some prototype development in that, and likely commercialization of the uh, proposal is there, and either there is some evolution of some startups like activities are there. That is the current trend nowadays. If you see, goes in the backs, the previously if you see the projects are granted in material technology or some simulation studies are there. But currently the trends are some prototype development and its commercialization through the startup. That type of trends are going on. What are the current limitations and restrictions are there? As I said, most of the funding agencies stop the funding to the academic institute, but it is not completely stopped. There is a lot of restrictions are there for the academic institutes. But if you are writing a research proposal in collaboration with some startups, some industries are there, then there is very good chance of getting such type of the fundings are. So these are the some restrictions and limitations of different funding agencies that one should have to look. The what subject areas awarded for funding recently. This is the another important aspect is that. So currently, if you see what are the last 5 to 10 years, what are the funding which is awarded in pharmaceutical and healthcare research are there. Most of the research projects that are dealing with the cancer, if you go 20 years back, then most of the research projects are based upon the some tuberculosis is there. That type of the subject, broad subject areas are there that one should have to focus for getting the project granted from the different funding agencies are. Then what are the future plans of the funder? Most of the funding agencies are giving their prospective plans, 5 years prospective plans or yearly prospective plans on their websites are there. So what kind of the provisions they made in a specific subject domain or subject areas for the funding, that one should have to identify, and accordingly one can write some research projects on it. Nowadays, antimicrobial resistance. This is the very emerging area, or most of the funding agencies are planning to fund in this area. Who are the decision makers and assessors? Actually, sometimes this who are the decision makers and assessors, that is not that information is not in public domain. But generally, the evaluation process or review process of any research proposal is there. That flow charts are there. In what steps the proposal is undergoing some evaluation is there. One should have to understand these things, and one should have to identify which are the likely stages where the project get terminated or there is a chances of rejection in there. If you overcome these type of the things are there, then there is a more chances of getting the project approved from the funding agencies are there. What are the review process do they follow? Sometimes the funding agencies are going for the blind reviews are there, or there is some kind of the open reviews are there. In case of blind reviews, the information about the investigator does not come in the front of the reviewer, or who is the reviewer, that is also not known to the investigator. Is that. In case of open review process, sometimes the funding agency is asking for the name of the subject expert from the principal investigator itself, and sending the proposal for making some comments on the proposal, and then there is a sanctioning will be there, or scrutiny will be there. Then another important aspect while writing the any research proposal, that is what is the deadlines for the submission. Most of the funding agencies are giving their calendar for submission every year in the beginning of the any financial year is there, and there is a deadlines also there. So as to avoid the rush at the last moment, one can submit the proposal prior to the last date is there. And since 2015, there is a lot of changes takes place. So most of the funding agencies are not extending the deadlines for the submission. So as to avoid such type of the problem, one should have to go for the submission prior to the date of last date of submission is there. How long will the process takes is there? Again, it is displayed on a website of the different funding agencies. what are the different stages of the evaluation along with the timeline is there. Approximately the one year period is taken up by any funding agency. More or less, it is 2-3 months are there in order to complete the review process and getting the decision regarding the proposal is there. What is the proper way to approach them? This is again very good question, which is to be initially to be answered. If you have some delay in response from the any funding agency, then you should approach through some mails by mentioning this, your proposal number is there. Directly asking the question or making some telephonic call. That is not the proper way to approach the funding agency. How many people apply each year and what percentage get grant? This is also needs to be identified. What exactly the chances of getting the sanction of the project is there. So this data, number of proposal received and percentage sanctioning, that is also available on our website of the different funding agencies. And in addition to this one, a lot of information is available on our funding agency's website, like say what are the frequently asked questions, what kind of the documents which needs to be submitted, what are the proceedings of the evaluation are there. That are also to be regularly updated on our website of the funding agencies on there. Now, following some points to remember while applying for the research grant in there. Funding bodies are look for the good researcher. So it is obligatory for a funding agency also to what are the budgetary provisions for the funds, research project, funds for the research project. That should goes into the good hands, and that's why they are looking for the good. They are always in the search of good researchers are there. And if your idea is very innovative one, what is the project you submitted? If it is a very interesting to attract the what are the funding bodies are there, then definitely there is a good chances of sanction of the research proposal is there. Then think of them as a potential investor in you and your ideas. Uh, if you see the 20 years back era of research funding to the academic institutes are there, that is a somewhat what we can say a kind of the mutual understanding between the government and academic institute. So government is having some funds and academic institutes are having some manpower to execute the research project is there. And in terms of outcome, if you see the project outcome is there, either there is some one or two paper get published into the predatory journals or some paid journals, and there is one more conference attended by the principal investigator, and one or two PhD get awarded throughout the project. That is the limited outcome is there. But nowadays the funding agencies are asking for more, so they are looking you as a potential in terms of potential investor. They are investing money in you, and they are looking for some profit from that in terms of some good innovative product, some prototype, or some startup establishment, and all these things are. You must sell your idea. Be enthusiastic about the work. This is very essential while writing a research proposal. You have to, if it is a very good idea and if it is presented in a very good manner, then you are able to get some handsome amount of the grant, which is not expected sometimes. So you must able to sell your idea while writing a research proposal is there. So for that purpose, be enthusiastic about work. Not look at the what are the limit given for the costing of the budget is there. If your idea is a very excellent one, so there is no any limit for the granting the amount. Why should give? Why should they give a grant? See it from the funder's point of view. So it is always with us also. If you are having some money, if someone is having money, it is not given to anybody is there without any interest, or if it is not looking some promising is there. So look in terms of the funders, why the money has been given to you to undertake this project, or merely it is a simple research work, laboratory research work. Why there is need to have some money is there. remember that you are not begging. This is the most of the time academic institutes people are feeling about the research proposal writing. They are asking some money, though they are requiring, say, in terms of contingency, they need some 3 lakhs rupees, but whether it is granted or not, so they are asking for only 1.5 lakhs. So you are not begging. If your idea is very commanding one, then there is a huge amount will be granted to you. So do not beg in front of the funders. You, because you are having the idea and they have money. So it is a two-way process with that. They have to give some money for the good ideas, and if you are having good idea, you can ask for the money. Then few other major criteria that needs to be identified that make the proposal suitable for the grant is that what are the objectives of the project, uh, what are the objectives which are claimed into the project are there. That should be based upon some hypothesis is there, and that can be achieved through the what is the methodology or writing in a research project. In terms of writing objectives of the project, it is ideal to give some main objective, and there are 2 or 3 specific objectives are expected over here. Then, what will be the outcome of the study? That needs to be answered. If it, in terms of writing the outcome of the study, if you are, if your outcome of the study is not beneficial to the large population in that, then there is a less chances of granting by the funding agency. If there is only limited people get benefited in terms of outcomes are there, or as I said, only there is outcome in terms of outcome. If you are claiming there is a 2 or papers get published, 1 or 2 students get awarded with PhD. These type of the outcomes are nowadays not expected in that. How beneficial it is to the large group of people are there, that is expected in case of outcomes are there, and what is the long term outcomes are there, what are the short term outcomes are there, that is also to be answered, and that will be the one of the criteria for getting the funding from the funding agency. Does the proposal address a well formulated problem? That is the one of the major criteria for the screening purpose. If it is based upon well formulated problem is that, then there is a more chances are there. But if you see any problem which is to be solved by the routine techniques are there, why there is a need to have some complicated technique is there. If such type of the things are there, if a common problem which is solved by the routine laboratory procedures and available resources are there, then that will not be served as a well formulated problem with that. So one should have to come up with some breakthrough or out of the box thinking to solve the problem with that. That is expected in terms of research problem with that. It is the research problem or just a routine application of known technique is that. Somewhat improvement in an existing one. This happens in most of the pharmaceutical proposals, and which are not likely to get sanctioned. Only there is a modification of the dosage form, increase in stability, modification of polymer to improve some of the property. That type of the routine things are there. These are not exactly the research problem, but if there is a new thing, innovative thing, if you are giving in terms of the research solution is that, then it is quite acceptable to the funding agencies. Is it an important problem whose solution will have the useful effect in that? Say like if you see in terms of COVID-19, there is a vaccine is came into the market. It is a very good solution, and it is having some useful effects on it. Simply modifying the existing treatment to overcome 1 or 2 problems, that will not serve the purpose of the proposal for the funding purposes. Is the special funding is necessary to solve the problem or to solve it quickly enough is that? As I given an example of COVID-19, there is a special funding is required, and one should have to generate the result within a short period of time. So in that case, one should have to ask for some special funding. Some excess amount of funds can be granted in that situation. Do the proposal have good idea on which their base their work is done? So having a good idea, but it is whether it is really executable one. That is also very important. Although most of the research proposals are hypothetical one should have to go for the some finding some preliminary data about the research work, how it likely to get progress in. That is needs to be answered over here. Does the proposal explain clearly what work will be done is there? While writing the methodology of the research proposal, one should have to explain clearly what are the possible parameters he is going to establish to demonstrate the what are the objectives which are claimed in a previous part of the proposal is there. Really, they are achievable through this proposed methodology or what is the work which is plan is there. Is there any evidence that proposal know about the relevant work that other have done? Uh, in order to answer this question, one should have to undertake some literature review or literature search. Nowadays, there is a lot of open database are available. The major sources of the resources where we can find the information about the what the other done in this area, like say some research publications are there, then some patents which are filed, some books which are written by someone. These type of the informations nowadays can be easily accessible to all. So broadly, if you are writing to the any funding agency, one should have to identify the relevant work done by the scientists those are working at a global level, or you can give some international status of the work done by the someone and the national status is there. So as to demonstrate that someone has done some good work internationally, but national level there is no any work has been done by the any scientist. So I am the appropriate person to undertake that one. That's why I am asking for the grant is there. Do the proposer has good track record both doing good research and publishing it? This type of the information is provided in terms of some biodata of principal investigator. There you can give some detailed information about the previously undertaken some research proposals, then some awards which are received by the principal investigator for the research work, then publication of the research work in a good journals, having the impact factor. If it is possible, one can mention the impact factor or the level of the publication, what kind of the good publication it is. That can be demonstrated in terms of number of citations, H index, ITN index, like that. What are the implications of for policy and practice, and how will this be taken up? So it is expected that what is the any outcome of the project is that should impart some contribution into the policy of the government is that most of the time while submitting the research proposal, the funding agencies are asking for the relevance of the project with the some government schemes are there, like say Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Health Mission, that type of the schemes are already undertaken by the government. So whether your project is dealing with that one, that is advantageous one, and how once the project is successful one, then how it is to be outcome of that project, how it is to be taken up by the that different government bodies in terms of policy, and how they are practiced into the routine applications are there. That needs to be answered in this case. These are the some crucial criteria, primary criteria are there. On the basis of that, if you are able to provide answer to the all questions are there, then you can say the project is standing to somewhere for granting purposes there. And then these are the some secondary criteria are there. An applicant with existing funding may be favored due to the evidence of good track record. If it is a idea is a very good one, your proposal is very interesting. Yeah, it is very well elaborated by the researcher is that. So the secondary criteria for the evaluation is that whether the researcher is having some track record in undertaking some researchers are there, especially in case of the say extramural type of research projects are there. But in case of the funding agencies, those are granting the funds to the say young innovators are there in terms of startup research grant and all these things. In that case, this criteria is not that much important in that. But if it is extramural research or in case of the professor emeritus type of the research projects on there, then in that case the existing funding and good track record of undertaking the funding, that is one of the criteria for the evaluation. Also priority given to the new researchers in the field. For that purpose, as there is a separate grants or funds are available for the young researchers, and nowadays there is a lot of funding is there for the women researchers also, and there is no any age limit is also given for the women researchers. So in that case, these type of the criteria are not that much taken into account. The previous research proposal evidence is not that much expected, but if your project is very good one, it is a innovative one, then there is a chances of getting granted from the funding agency. Then evidence of industrial interest in the proposal and its potential for the future exploitation will count in favor. As I said previously, nowadays most of the funding agencies are given more consideration to this secondary criteria: prototype development, scale up of operations, and startup establishment. So this type of the industrial relevance to the project, that is most favored is. Now, now we'll see what exactly the content of the research proposal is that. The first more important part of the research project is that is the title. That is one of the important thing to increase the attention or to create the attention of the reviewer about the project is that it is good to have some concise title that gives the reviewer great general sense of what you are investigating is that. For example, if you see, this is one of the title I given here. This is the one of the projects sanctioned to me by the University Grant Commission. Uh, if you see the example, it is a very concise one, and it is giving the idea what the PI wants to investigate. The PI want to develop an nano emulsion for the nose to brain delivery, uh, using a curcumin as one of the model substance for the effective treatment of the brain cancer. Simply by going through the title of the research project, one can understand that what kind of the work it is, what are the extent of work is that, and what is the focus of the project is that. It is deals with the treatment of the brain cancer is that. Now, if you see where there is a chances of rejection of the research project is that, uh, if it is a too long, technical of title will not gain reviewer attention and interest in them. And if it is a very too short and broader a title, will make the reviewer too critical about the grant is there. I've given an example of this similar kind of the research project, what is the sanction to me. Development of nanotechnology based delivery system of bioactive phytophenols for the cancer is there. Now, if you see here, the it is a very vague title is there. Development of nanotechnology based delivery system. Now, if you see the nanotechnology based delivery system, there's a hundreds of options are there for the delivery purposes there. You can go with the polymeric, non-polymeric, lipid, non-lipid, then organic, inorganic. There is a lot of things are there. In case of bioactive phenols, there is a thousands of bioactive phenols are there which are found to be effective in the treatment of cancer. Then what is the selection criteria for that? How there is a delivery is there? How it is to be useful in the treatment of cancer? That type of the vague title, so it will not make attention of the reviewer toward the project is there. Then second important point while writing the research proposal, that is the referees are there. Here in case of this referees, few funding agencies are asking for the suggesting the referee for the evaluation, or some are not asking. They are on their own going for the searching the referees for the review purposes. It is good to choose the referee in your field of research who is done a lot of research work into that one. Choose a scientist and colleague that will be positive but too critical of the science is there. This is also very essential is that someone has did some commendable research work in a specific area, but if it is more critical or too critical about the science is there, so if there is a two or three little mistakes are there, they're not be ignored by that person in there, and there is a chances of rejection in there. On the basis of referee, there is some chances of rejection is that. Do not choose your close collaborator. who published the publication with you in the past, or who is closely associated with your organization. That type of the referees are not to be included as a referee. Do not choose the competitor in the field with a diverse view. It is better to avoid the mentioning the names of the competitors are there. Do not choose the top scientist in your field, since they are not having the time to review your proposal in a stipulated period of time, and they are too critical in general because of their expertise into their areas also. Then another important point which is to be mentioned in a research proposal, that is the co-applicants are there. It is the advisable to put the co-applicant into the research proposal. This could be the strength if you are mentioning the junior investigator with a limited track record who can assist you in some certain aspect or certain skills that you are lacking. Say for example, if you are a formulation development scientist, and if your research proposal is consisting of some work related to preclinical studies on it, then you can put some person who is expertise in handling the animals, collecting the blood samples, and processing the animal tissues. That can serve as a co-applicant for the funding is that. It is a weakness of the project to add the co-applicant if they just give you the reagent, or say if it is academic institute. If I am a principal investigator and my principal will be the co-investigator, that co-applicant, that is not actually suitable practice is there. Co-applicant will be most of the project, will do the most of the project in their laboratory. That is also not expected. 90% of the work is to be carried out in a investigators or applicants laboratory, and remaining 10% activity can be done in the co-applicant activity. Then budget. Budget is the heart of the any research proposal. In the initial discussion, I said we are not beggars, but while writing a budget, one should have to make the things or put the some amount with the very sensible manner is that. Give the detailed account of where you will spending the money, and it is advisable by most of the funding agencies, or expected by the most of the funding agencies. Approximately one third of the budget should go to the equipment. If it is most of the budget is going to the some contingency in chemicals and all these things, then there is a some less chances of sanctioning from the funding agency, or they can cut short your budget straight away, and then there is a sanctioning of the project will be there. If you are asking for the assistance in terms of the graduate students, that is not supported or not expected in terms of the manpower budget is that. Sometime if it is a special call for the young investigators are there, or early career teachers are there, then it is advisable to go without the manpower budget is there. So you can ask for the more money for the instrument or equipments are there, or more amount for the some outsourcing and hiring charges are there. Do not justify the spending all budget on a person. That is not expected in any funding agencies. In case of any certain type of the fundings, which are for the person, those are not working anywhere. Means they are not permanently affiliated to any organization. In that case, you can ask for some more amount for the personal budget is there. Then summary of the research proposal. This is one of the abstract of the research proposal. A good summary of research proposal gives short but informative background to justify the research hypothesis and its objective. Then while writing a research proposal, you can give some problem statement, then clearly state the hypothesis, how you are going to answer this research question is that. Then state the objectives and aim of the proposal. As I said, there will be one main objective followed by some specific objectives are there. State the impact of the proposal in terms of outcome, its significance and innovations in the proposal, which are not somewhat done previously, or what kind of the modifications are you're bringing into the in terms of outcome of the project is that. define acronyms as much as possible, or sometimes it is advisable to go with the some not to use the some synonymous terms or short forms are there. One can go for the some meaningful acronyms are there, or that can be defined initially in a summary in terms of keywords are there. Then rejects technical and condensed phrasing of the project. Uh, what are the summary of the research proposal once it is going to the review purpose? Sometimes what are the reviewers are there? They are not actually to be dealing with the specific subject area toward which your project is dealing with. So if it is a very technically written project, that is quite difficult to understand by that person. So that should be given in some non-technical concept terminologies or phrasings are there, like storytelling. So that can be easily understood by the someone who is having some limited expertise in the area of research work is there. No clear statement of what is the purpose of the study. Uh, that is to be important. The purpose of the study in terms of say need of the study, why one should have to undertake this study, and what will be the outcome. If it is not properly correlated, then there is a less chances of sanctioning or there is a rejection of the proposal is there. Then if you see the details of research proposal, the order of proposal is like that. There is a goals and objective of proposal is there. Background of the research proposal is there. Rationale and hypothesis is there. Then specific aims. Again, in specific aims, one should have to give the rationale of the study. Hypothesis. It is advisable to go with the hypothesis, and if it is again, it is possible. If possible, if this first hypothesis will not work, then what will be the alternate hypothesis is there? Then approaches to achieve these objectives are there. Then expected results. Then pitfalls of alternative approaches if these things are not leads to the successful outcome. And significance and impact of the proposal. Here, in case of the significance and impact of this proposal, one can give some short-term significance, short-term impact, and then large scale impact of this proposal on a society. In case of these goals and objectives of the study, it is good to provide the goals and objectives. These are usually one paragraph telling the reviewer everything they need to know about the research proposal. This provide opportunity to gain some reviewer interest and excitement about the proposal. It should contain the background on which the research is important, hypothesis and its objective. Try to give some background information in terms of some numerical data, which is previously published. What are the limitations of the existing things to solve that problem is that type of the things are to be provided. So that will create some informative background in front of the reviewer, so as to understand clearly the problem is that. Then should state the innovation of this proposal. Then how this proposal is different from the what are the existing strategies available with the public domain, available in the public domain to solve that problem. And finally, it should demonstrate why the project is significant and what impact it will have on large scale or on the societies. There is a chances of rejection of research proposal based upon these details. No goals and objective statement. So objective statement is very essential as a part of the research proposal. If it is too technical, too condensed, that's why it is not easy to understand. So it should be written in the form of say story like it is to be written, and there is a connection between the 2 or 3 points will be there. First point, then second point, then third point. So that will be somewhat easy to be understood by the reviewer. Is there? Too short will not give reviewer needed information to understand the proposal. So, while writing the detailed research proposal, one should have to provide some information in terms of some databases, some numerical information. If it is a possible, one can give the information in terms of background, some flow charts and pictograms are there. So broad maximum information can be put in a single diagram or all this. That will increase the understanding of the reviewer about the proposal. Too long will make the reviewer skip the background and make the reviewer search for what is important. If it is a too wordy is there. So the most of the funding agencies are giving some number of limit for the words while writing this aspect is not more than 500 words like that. So try to put very essential information, important information in this part is there. Then background, it is a very good if you are giving some needed information to the reviewer that is to better understand the objective and approaches in this proposal is the structure the background to go from broad information like say such as cancer kill patient to the specific information such as which protein is increased in a solid tumor or in terms of say globally there is a this number of population get infected with the cancer at a national level. This is the database, and in a district, this is the information. That type of the linking between the whatever the research problem is. That is very essential in this case. Is that build up the background toward the answering the specific question that are unknown is that. So that will create the impression about the project that it is a very innovative one. That you are answering the unknown question which is not tried by someone or not answered by someone previously. Then it is good to have some background. There should be section within a background to discuss the preliminary data. Connect the preliminary data to the background information. It is always advisable in case of say extramural type of research grant that there is a funding is for the 3 years period is there, and if it is a researcher is having very good track record in terms of previous publication, he can generate some preliminary information either in terms of some surveys, either in terms of some preliminary laboratory studies to demonstrate that what is the research problem is there that can be solved by this technique is there. That type of the limited preliminary data is quite suitable to convince the reviewer for granting the research proposal. Spend time on innovation such as using a unique research for the proposal is there. That's why one should have to plan 1 year back prior to submitting the research proposal, gathering some information, gathering some statistical data, and doing some preliminary studies into the laboratories. Based upon the background, if it is not properly given, there is a chances of rejection in the following situations are there. Do not expand background to unnecessary information that does not support the hypothesis, which is irrelevant to the your problem statement is that. Background should not exceed 1/3 or to 1/2 of the proposal. There is a limit has been given. Accordingly, there is a information is to be provided in the background. No preliminary data generally negative impact the proposal in two ways. That no indication that proposal is feasible, or no indication that applicant can do the proposed work. So it is better to go for some generation of preliminary data that may not be published anywhere. But if you put some information in terms of results, then there is a chances of granting is there. Otherwise, it is to be seen it is only a hypothetical project, or whether it is likely to lead to some significant outcome or not. That is not to be understood by the reviewers. Then another important aspect in a research proposal that is rationale and hypothesis. Clearly state the hypothesis or number of hypotheses that will be addressed in a proposal. Give the rationale why this hypothesis is important to investigate in terms of need of the study. Avoid the combining the two together, rationale and hypothesis. It could be confusing to the reviewer. Too long hypotheses make hard to understand the aim of the research work. Although there is a 2 or 3 hypotheses are there, then that will be justified in a 2 or 3 statements are there. Hypothesis when or alternate hypothesis is there. That type of the mentioning into the research proposal is expected with respect to the rationale and hypothesis. Then another important aspect in a research proposal, that is specific aims are there. Limit your specific aims to the two or three. Make sure controls are added on approaches taken. There is a constraints always there in any aims and objectives are there. Always gives what your expected results will be there, and how you are going to achieve that by using some methodology. Always give an alternative approach since pitfall happens. So alternate strategy to achieve that aims that is to be given. Address the feasibility. If you are not demonstrated that, you can do the experiment proposed. Sometimes you doesn't have the all the facilities, infrastructural facilities or instrumental facilities to undertake the any specific aim and objective. So try to identify the some laboratories or some research institute that dealing with that, or they are having some expertise into that area, so that you can initially identify them and you can propose them that these are the some identified institute where we can undertake our experimental research work. Is based upon a specific aim, there is a chances of rejection if many specific aims are there. So try to restrict the aims one or two. One is the main objective or aim, or two or more specific aims are there. That 2 years proposal or 3 years proposal, if it is more than two or three aims are there, it is too ambitious, and that will negatively impact on reviewers. Sometimes if it is a good reviewer is there, they can cut your some aims and objective accordingly to get some desired
So yes, okay, मैं थोड़ा बोलूँगा, मैं थोड़ा
Hello. Yes, may I audible?
Yes, yes, yes. You are audible, sir. Sorry, participant, for technical issue. It is being
Sorry,
resolved.
sorry, sorry for
It is going
disturbance.
live. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I think we are at significance and impact.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes,
so,
exactly, sir.
uh, so significance and impact is a last chance to impress the reviewer on the importance of what you are proposing. Uh, uh, Try to give some information in terms of significance that will what we can say effective for the large group of population is that, and it is having some broad impact, not the narrow one. Give the sense of future direction of this research work, how useful it is for long terms, and how it is to be useful for the some either the government agencies or for industries in any sense. Why the proposal is innovative? That distinction between the previous research work and your research work, that can be given over here. Impact on a field and or a disease being studied could be stated. Uh, if there is no any significance statement is that there is a chances of rejection, or if it is a very superficial, that it will cure the cancer or it will give some innovative dosage form, that type of the significance and impact that doesn't attract the reviewer for granting purposes. In terms of methods, try to give some detailed methodology. Most of the time, the investigator making some mistakes while writing this methodology is that they're writing it is in past tense. That is to be written in a future tense. What you are going to do. Uh, Try to choose such a methods that are sufficiently rigorous to produce the clear the answer. Then in case of this, if it is possible to give the stepwise methodology along with the time which is required, and this must be realistic. Say in terms of formulation development, if you are writing pre-formulation studies and if you are giving some timeline of 6 months in that, so it is not realistic. One can complete if you are having all the things available with you, so one can complete a pre-formulation study within one month, including the compatibility studies. So that type of the information is required in case of methodology. Then applicant CV, most of the funding agencies are having their fixed format for the mentioning the CV. If it is not there, then you can give the especially all the awards received to you. Here in case of this, while writing the awards, one can put some international award initially, then national awards, then local awards. Sometimes the awards which are received from some local agencies, which are not dealing with some research work, that are not to be included, are not expected to be included. List all the publication in last 5 years, along with their impact factors, their citations, ranking of the journals. That is expected in applicant design. There is a chances of rejection based upon CV or based upon applicant biodata. If there is no any evidence of the research activity or track record, and all middle authors for the publication. It is nowadays it is a trending multiple author publications. That is also not what we can say attract the reviewer for the funding purposes. Then if there is any ethical issues are there, try to solve that ethical issues, and try to give some permissions to undertake such type of the ethical proposals are there, either it is in terms of animal ethical committee or human ethical committee. The proposal can address through these ethical considerations with appropriate sanctioning for the proposal is there. Then these are the some funding agencies in India that are providing funding to the academic institutes, and they are having their specific domains for the funding. Like say Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, they are funding for the some basic research is there. Then DRDO is funding for the some research related with the some military operations. Say Atomic Energy is dealing with the some radio pharmaceuticals. ICMR is dealing with some clinical research and preclinical research is there. SARB, Department of Biotechnology, that is providing funding with respect to the biotechnological areas. Some regional Department of Science and Technology in Maharashtra, Rajiv Gandhi Science Technology Commission, that is funding in social areas, research with respect to the social area. These are the some funding agencies which are providing or supporting to the academic institute only, University Grant Commission, then AICT, and local funding agencies like say local universities. Some advice to the all investigators, those are willing to write a research proposal. Do not feel ashamed or embarrassed about asking the money or promoting yourself. If you are having some good idea, write it in a very good manner and come for asking for some money. If never ask for the money, it will not be never offered. It happens either in terms of salary or either in terms of funding from funding agents. If you are not asking, nobody is going to give money to you. If you are the first, you don't succeed, try again. It is unlimited attempts are expected to get the handsome amount of funds from funding agency. Learn from feedback regarding the rejected proposals. So it's my personal experience that once there is a rejection is there, that leads to the development of very good proposal. Once if you are solving the what are the comments which are given by the reviewer in a positive manner, if you are taking it positively, you are able to write the proposal very comprehensive one, which is next time that can be easily liked by the reviewers, and be positive while writing a research proposal. Most of the time, just going through the some website, if you see there is a 70% rejection is there, so how can I get grant? That will not serve your purpose. So try be positive while writing. If your idea is very good, definitely you will get fund from funding agents. Then this is very good cartoon. I like. I want to do one research project. My project is simply this. I want to find out once and for all whether there is any truth in a belief that money can't buy happiness. Uh, so you can find the answer for this one. You will get the grant from any funding agency for this research problem. Is really the money can buy the happiness or not? Is that? This is about my views about how to write a research grant proposal. This is my institute where I written more than 21 research proposal, and I able to get sanction of about 7 research projects which are costing more than 1.2 crores. Okay, good luck with your research proposal. Thank you. If there is any question from a participant, then I'm happy to answer.
Okay, very good afternoon, sir. Again, this was very resourceful session for one and all. Sir has highlighted various points. So first of all, we will go to question and answer session. I'll just find out any queries from the participant. In that sense, okay, so this was the session, sir. As such, as I am not finding any question, but in between, if you come, then I'll just quote. Before to that, I just want to know that certain things about your presentation. That is any criteria which specifically apply for the grants as an individual. Means for an individual, what is the requirement or the eligibility?
As a
As a eligibility of individual to apply
oh
for
no
grant.
no actually there is a no eligibility criteria as such. In any graduate and postgraduate with research background, it is advisable to have some PhD degree nowadays for getting some funding from big funding agencies. agency. But in case of say UGC and some other agencies, there is no such criteria as that in terms of eligibility.
And again, could you focus, put a light on that whether, I mean, the result-oriented project research, I mean, what are the grants we are receiving? So, is it a negative result or something like that is acceptable, or like in that sense, what could you add?
Actually, if it is a good research proposal based upon some good literature review, so there is a less or minimum chances of getting negative result. Uh, and until the reviewer is not convinced with the outcomes of the research, they are not providing funding. So it is expected that once you are applying for the research project, one should have to go with some generation of preliminary data, preliminary information. So that preliminary data or preliminary information will be what we can say, it is a base for any research proposal that will guarantee that what are the outcomes are there that are achievable one, or there is no any very in less circumstances there is a negative results will be obtained if your hypothesis is correct, and if your preliminary literature review and preliminary data generation, if it is done. So, as per my experience is there, most of the time why the academicians fail in writing a research proposal is that because they are not doing any preliminary research work, preliminary experimental work in their laboratories. They, based upon literature review, they are putting their idea and they are going for the funding. So, if you do some preliminary work done and have some results of that one, so if it is included in a research project, so that will easy to convince the reviewer that we got some information and that information can be taken up to the outcome is now.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, I acknowledge your point. And on a minor note, that you narrated somewhere in the budget that one third of the amount of the total grant to be implemented on equipment purchasing.
Equipment and
So that
instrument, yeah.
particular equipment to be related to the whatever the research project was
Project only. It should
only for.
again while writing the grant and while asking for the money for the equipment is done. That should be permanent. It is to be called as the non-recurring budget in terms of grants. So if it is a non-recurring budget, the one third amount should go to that one. The objective of funding agency for giving that much weightage to the non-recurring in terms of equipment is that after the project get over, that instrument is available for the learning purpose, either to the students or other researchers on it. That is the one of the concept is there. So one should have to give the while writing in a research proposal, what it will be the spare time of the equipment. If it is procured under the grant, and how much time it is to be utilized for your research work, and what is the spare time. The estimation of spare time is for the purpose that how it is useful for the others also, other peoples, those are dealing in the similar research area.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, sir. And lastly, that could you, I mean, I want to know that whether accountability of the that particular project, that is grant. I mean, that is evaluated as a productive research. I mean, accountability of your research or the value of your basic research what you are doing through that grant. So, what is the criteria which is evaluated? Uh,
Actually, once the project get completed, one should have to submit the project completion report to the funding agency, and by that time, about 80% grant has been reimbursed by the sanction or disbursed by the funding agency. 10% belongs to the funding agencies as a pending amount. And if your project is satisfactory in terms of all objectives get achieved, and in terms of outcome of the project, nowadays they are asking for some product, and there is a technology transfer to the some identified industries are there. Then there is a rating of the proposal will be there. Completed projects are there, and if your project is getting some good marks and some rating, good rating is there, then you are eligible for the some additional fundings in order to commercialize their product, to establish the startup business. That type of the benefits are also there to the investigator. And if it is a straight way, if it is not good, kind of the outcomes are there as reflected in a completion report, then the funding agency asks for the investigator to do the work again, to establish the things without any funding, and again has to submit the proposal, project completion project to the funding agency for the reviewer purpose.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And before to highlight your expert talk, I would say that your presentation was very, very unique and informative as per the grants are concerned, because no doubt a 3-day brainstorming which is going on a effective research proposal and manuscript writing. But your presentation is specifically the blending of good and reject, that could really, really very crystal clear to every researcher that okay, everyone talks about what things to be done, but what has not to do when writing a research proposal. You are highlighted in a very precise manner. Definitely, this is a resourceful. You are highlighted on the chances of rejection and proposal by title, along with the liabilities and I mean the skills of co-applicant to be have within this particular with the principal investigator in a research proposal. Along with the budget, on budget also you highlighted that the one third to be spent on the equipment, and you would take a detailed I mean the talk on the summary of research proposal, which principally includes the hypothesis. That is nothing but a problem statement which you are narrating in for the grant. That is very, very important. And for that problem statement, how what objectives you have set, what aims you have set, and how you are going to do that particular research project with the impact and the significance which could lead to a really a meaningful research. And in that also you are focused on the rejects of various aspects of this research proposal, that if there is no clear statement of the problem, of what is purpose of this particular study, then certainly that is being summarizedly rejected. Then you are talk about the good and results of the details of research proposals. In that you are covered that is goals of your research proposal. Then the background, that is very, very important, which problem you are narrating and how much you are, rather than to criticize, but how you are affirmatively you are just putting the problems of the existing technologies. Along with the rationale, that is one of the important aspect, key aspect of every research proposal. What was the rationale and what problems is going to solve, or what research is going to give to the society by that particular project. Along with the expected results that to be anticipated in the research proposal, that is also one of the important aspect you talk about, along with the pitfalls. And last, in a detailed research proposal, that is the significance. And significance and that impact of research is one of the important aspect which is there. And lastly, you quoted the ethical aspects of human and animal ethical committees, permissions and all that, that to be there. And very key, what we can say, the suggestion and the informations you are given to every researcher, that failure is nothing but the step of success. So be positive, because your reject, if your first proposal or whatever the subsequent proposal are going to reject, that make you perfect, and that make you fine tune the next your research proposal, and definitely that will be certainly be accepted by the that research grant committees. And definitely maybe due to that, at a rural place, I know where you are, where you I mean take grab, that is 123 lakh. I mean, this is a very big amount, and that particular research grant you received, uh, and I'm very proud to say that, and thankful also to you that you given the time to spare a time for our researchers on this particular varied topic with a unique presentation specifically on grants. So definitely, we are very thankful as Sir Dr. M.S. Goswami College of Pharmaceutical Education Research Organizers, Management Principal, uh, that you are here and deliver a talk on this particular topic. As an appreciation of love, as an appreciation certificate, you have to kindly receive this particular certificate. Uh, Summary, sir. So this was the topic where you are highlighted how to write a successful research proposal for grants. Kindly accept, sir, certificate of appreciation from us.
Thank you. Convey my regards to Amritkar sir and Dr. Pingay for giving an opportunity to share my some views on writing a research grant proposal. And it's
Yeah,
sharing my experience is always an interesting thing because once I applied for more than 21 projects and I got 7. So I learned a lot of things through this. So it is I will be always happy to share my this experiences during the writing a research proposal, and I never get upset if there is some grant get rejected. But I'll take the whatever the comments which are coming from reviewer in positive sense. So that make my next proposal a very comprehensive one and acceptable one. Thank you. Thank you for
yeah,
giving.
definitely. Yeah, definitely, sir. I will convey your message and also these are the suggestions and useful tips you are given while writing this particular proposal. Definitely, we will take a cognizance of this and definitely with this, I will conclude this particular session is over. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, sir. And all participants, I would like to one important announcement regarding. Sir, you can what you can say you can remove from the link. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So one of the important instructions for the all participants that the tomorrow sessions will start at 9:30 sharp. So tomorrow is the last day of this particular 3 days FDP and student training program. So we will be sharp at 9:30 in the morning. All should take note of the same because of instead of 10, we are taking this session half an hour early, that is 9:30. Okay, thank you very much for patiently listening all the sessions of today. Each and every participant have a good day. Thank you. Here it concludes the day 2 of FDP. Thank you.